I seen Wicked last night, and something I really want to talk about was the storyline, because I think it's so interesting that the two stories they chose, well, the storyline they chose to play was through the lens of the Wicked Witch. And I think it's really reflective of the day and age we're in. The time period, 2025, I think it's reflective of that, but also the age we're in. We're in the golden age, and we're in the age of Aquarius. We're also in the age of information. And when you think about information, right, a lot of us think about the internet technology. So we're in the age of knowledge. There was periods in the world, right, where knowledge was not widespread. Knowledge was not accessible for everybody. Like, knowledge was reserved. And I believe that's probably, well, I don't know if I should say that. I was going to say I believe that's when knowledge was worth something, because it was only shared amongst a select few of, group of people. So they actually was teaching real shit versus this fucking, widespread public bullshit education system. What they call it? Critical, I don't know, whatever they talking about in the media, the news theory, the news theory, the race theory and the critical, whatever they teaching, they switch it up every 10, 15 years because it's bullshit. Excuse me. But I feel like back in the day, in those time periods where knowledge wasn't accessible and they weren't in the age of information, the knowledge was probably more credible. A lot of knowledge today is empty, but we think because we have Google and we could just type anything that we actually have knowledge of something. It's so many times I get on Google, and it's crazy because nobody thinks, like, y'all not think about this. I get on Google, I could ask a very blank question, like a yes or no question. Google will tell me yes. It'll have an answer that say yes. Right underneath it, it'll have a answer that say no, and then right underneath that, it'll have an answer that say maybe. So even in today's age, the golden age, the age of information, it's not about having access to the information. It's about deciphering the information and taking the information you believe in, because it's showing you that there's information proving everything. There's information saying yes. There's an article saying yes to my question. There's an article saying no to my question. There's an article saying maybe to my question. That means there's an answer. The answer is everything. So it's about learning how to pick and decipher through what's real information and what's fluff. A lot of the shit online is fluff. Not just social media, Google. But I'm not going to get on Google too much because I'm on YouTube. So I ain't going to do da-da-da-da-da-da. But, I mean, we all know what it is, and if you don't know what it is, you're stupid. Literally. But I brought that up because I think it's so interesting that in the age of information, the story of the Wizard of Oz that they chose to play and to rewrite and to make a movie is the story of its information. Because the Wizard of Oz, you don't know nothing. Like Dorothy and all that, all you know is Dorothy house fell, and now she in this magical world trying to get home. You don't know anything about the wizard, you don't know shit about the Tin Man. They told the story of the Tin Man. They told the story of the Scarecrow, and they told the story of the Cub. I feel like they kind of, I feel like they could have went a little bit harder in the story with the Cub, but the Tin Man and the Scarecrow was good enough for me, so I'm gonna let them have it. But I feel like they could have went a little deeper into the story. But my point is, they told the information side of the Wizard of Oz. Isn't that ironic? In this day and age, in the golden age, in the age of Aquarius, in the information age, they decided to tell you the information of the Wizard of Oz. So what once was just a fable, what once was just this magical story, is now not magical no more, because you know all of the, you know it, you know what exposes it, you know the wizard isn't real, you know he's just a nigga from Earth who landed here like Dorothy. You know that the fucking You know that the witch is not bad. You know that the good witch is bad. You know all these things, like, and now that you know all these things, it makes the story different. The story's not as magical. I heard somebody say, I think it was Brother Panic, he literally said magic is just what you don't know. Magic is just science that you don't know. That's what he said. Magic is just science that you don't know. So, like in The Wizard of Oz, right? I always wondered, like, how did the scarecrow become a scarecrow? I just assumed that in this magical world, he was born a scarecrow. Because it's already a magical world. The Tin Man not having a heart, I just assumed he was a robot his whole life and didn't have a heart. And granted, I'm sure they changed the stories because I'm gonna get back to that. But you take things for face value, you take things for what they are, which is why I think a lot of people can't see past the truth, because we take things for what they are, and we have to a certain extent, but things are never what they seem. We take things as they are, but things are never as they seem. So I took the scarecrow as just a scarecrow who's been a scarecrow his whole life, who just lived in Oz. Now I've seen this movie, and now I've been given this information, and now I know he was actually the head of the army of Oz, and his girlfriend turned him into a scarecrow to save his life. So he used to be a human like me. But before that, I thought he was just a magical scarecrow. You see what I'm saying? So we see things for what they are, but things are never as they seem. That's crazy. I just thought it was really interesting that that's the movie they decided to recreate and produce, because The Wizard of Oz, I have to look it up because I don't know the writers' names. But I think it's like The Stories of Oz or something. Because it's public domain. The stories are public domain. Okay, the original L. Frank Oz books, starting with The Wonderful Wizard of Oz in the 1900s or the 1800s, and continued through his 14. Okay, by Frank L. Baum. No, public domain. No, it's like it's a list of it. Ozma of Oz. I have to look this up on my own time because I don't want to spend the whole video doing that. But I do know that the story of Oz, The Wizard of Oz, Wicked, all of that shit, The Wiz, all of that is from this author who made a bunch of these stories, and then when he died, he listed them for public domain. So they could have chose any story. They could have chose any story to portray, and they chose that one, exposing the secrets of Oz. Even Begonia. You know what's crazy? I don't think people know what time we're living in. That's why I don't give a fuck about nothing. Like, I really don't. Like, all of that niggas trying to push poverty and push this fucking oppression and class and race, all that shit don't matter. That shit only work on whoever buy that shit. That shit do not work all across the board. You got to believe that shit. I don't believe that shit. I know what age we in. We in the age of having our way. We in the age of getting what the fuck we want. Begonia. Okay. Wicked. These are all movies that came out in 2025. Wicked exposed all the secrets of Oz. Exposed the Wizard of Oz and exposed all the secrets of Oz. That's the movie that they chose to produce. A movie that exposed all the secrets of Oz. Okay. Begonia. A movie about a man who thinks this CEO exec is an alien from space. Turns out she, in fact, is an alien from space. Another movie that exposes the secret of what's going on behind closed doors. Okay, Him. These are all movies that came out in 2025. Him. Man gets drafted to go to the NFL. They want him to sign his contract to sign his life away to these fucking old ass reptilian owners of the team, right? He kills them all and exposes the secrets of the industry for what it is. These are all the movies they're putting out, but y'all can't see what they like. Y'all gotta get with this shit, bro. Like, seriously, like, This shit is about the mind. This is a mind game. This is a game, period. But come on. And even Wicked, to bring it back to Wicked, like showing the relationship between the good witch and the wicked witch. They were the same person. They were two polarities of the same person. They're the same person. They're the same person. But it's showing you that polarity exists to fight each other. There was a part in the movie where Elphaba, the wicked witch, literally said they need somebody to love and they need somebody to hate. And I don't think most people even recognize how much they champion for other people's pain. Like it's like, if you think about shit like this, like it was a situation going on with these two older black women online. I'm not gonna say neither one of their names because I told y'all I don't like saying people's names. I don't want to be involved in it, but I do want to talk. I want to point this out. They both do the same thing online, low key. Low key, they both do the same thing. They both make the same type of content. They both kind of do the same shit, and they both got the same kind of audiences. So even if you was to argue they not the same, they got the same audience. So that says a lot. They get into it. They arguing. They going back and forth. Automatically, more people is taking side A side than side B. And I know for a fact it's only because of how side A looks. It's like Beyonce could do something, and what's her name? Lizzo could do the same thing. And because Lizzo did it, it's immediately gonna get a more negative reaction than Beyonce. Immediately. And it's like, and I'm guilty of this too, because that's what programming does. That's what them feeding you repetitious signals into your mind does. All of those movies and media and magazines and clips and Twitter and Vine and the TV channels and all this shit that we just was watching aimlessly or not really thinking about, it was programming us. It was programming us to have certain beliefs so that as soon as something happened, you have an immediate response to it. You don't even think to yourself, why am I being so harsh to this bitch? That don't even cross your mind. Because you got to ask yourself, why does what somebody else do even bother you? If Lizzo did do something, why the fuck you mad? Why you calling her greedy? What the fuck that got to do? And that's the problem I have with people in real life. I feel like people be too worried about what I'm doing in real life. Like strangers. If I want to play music on my phone outside, I can do that. You have no dominion over me. As people, we care too much about what other people doing, and we don't focus on why we give a fuck. Why you care? Why you care if Lizzo do that? Why you care if Beyonce do that? Why you think that it's okay if Beyonce do it, but it's not okay if Lizzo do it? That don't make no sense. And that's what I was talking about in another video. People don't think about the principle. They just take shit for what it is. So you look at Beyonce, you take Beyonce for what she is, and you decide how you feel about her action based on what you see. Lizzo do the same action. You take it for what it is, what you see is from Lizzo, and you make your decision. You never stop to think, why the fuck do I care? You never stop to think, why am I being so... You never stop to think. You just judge. Because that's that programming. The programming, that joke that you heard in 2nd grade on Disney Channel about fat people, is replaying in your mind and you don't know it. It's crazy because I've been watching older movies, like not older, but movies I watched when I was young, like movies that I loved as a kid, or movies I watched when I was a child. I've been rewatching them, and it's actually scary how much of my personality has come from these movies. I watched 16 Wishes like 6 months ago. I watched the one with Debbie Ryan. I seen a half of the original one, the first one. I don't know if it's from the 80s or the 90s. I don't know, but I did see half of it recently. I didn't watch it when I was a kid, but the one with Debbie Ryan was one of my favorite movies because it was 16 Wishes. I had to be like 12. I don't fucking know, But when I turned 16, I wanted a red Mustang, or at least a Mustang for my car. Like my first car, I wanted a red Mustang so bad. I was obsessed with Mustangs, and I remember from like 14, yeah, ninth grade, from 14 to my 16th birthday, all I would talk about was red Mustangs. I would look at pictures of them. I loved it. Like, and I was like, this is my dream car. And I never thought about it, like why I wanted a Mustang, because I wasn't into cars ever, and I definitely wasn't into sports cars. But for some reason, I was like, I want that to be my first car, and I didn't get it. Which, thank God, I didn't need it. I did not need it. I didn't need it, and that really wasn't the car I wanted. But I'm going to tell you why I thought I wanted it. When I rewatched 16 Wishes this year, 6 months ago, do you want to know what Debbie Ryan's first car was? One of her wishes was a bright red Mustang. And I said, is that where I even got that from? Like, is that what that's what I wanted? That's why I wanted that car? Because prior to that, I had no interest in sports cars. I wanted a Bug. I wanted a little Beetle. That's the kind of car I wanted. I wanted a Beetle. To go from a Beetle to a sports car, a Mustang, is crazy. But my point is, that's just how much these movies and shows are actually programming us. Because I had forgot about that. That's a movie I watched when I was like 11, 12. Maybe 10. I don't know when it came out. But whatever year it came out, that's how old I was. So like 11, 12. And I had forgot about it. Till I turned like 14, 15, 16. I was like, oh yeah, I want that. I want that. Because of a movie. I have more examples like that, where like I'll be watching something I used to watch a lot, and I'll see like pieces of my personality played out in my favorite characters. Literally the characters I wanted to be like, or I really like, those are the personality traits I accepted. But if I accepted those personality traits, wouldn't that mean I would also accept their mentality, that character's mentality, whatever that may be? You know, for some people, Sweet Life of Zack and Cody, their favorite character was London Tipton. Maybe you didn't just accept the style of London Tipton. Maybe you accepted the whole mindset of London Tipton. Maybe you accepted the whole personality of London Tipton. But again, that's just one show. That's just one movie. How much media have we really consumed since kids? Since ABC 1, 2, 3, Barney, and Teletubbies. I remember I put on Teletubbies a couple years ago, and I was terrified. Because when I was a kid, I have memories of them talking. And as an adult, I went and put on Teletubbies, and them bitches didn't say nothing the whole episode. I got scared. I said, cut this shit off. It didn't even feel right. So imagine what the fuck was really getting said when we was 1, 2, 3 years old, kids, and unable to stop the processing from happening. The brain, y'all niggas is not ready for real. But anyways, this the age of information, this the age of technology, this the golden age. You don't gotta struggle. They gotta give you what you want. So start asking for it. Don't let nobody disrespect you. Don't let nobody fuck you over. Don't let nobody play you pussy. Don't let nobody. And when I say don't let nobody, I don't mean be no, be yourself and just go the other way and say, nigga, fuck you. Literally. Like that. Nigga, fuck you. That's it.